tuned in to the Mark Order Podcast. Join the Mark Order.
Well, it is Saturday night, the night that you and I collide. I am Ryan with the Mark Order Podcast, here for the Collidercast, and I'm joined, as always, by my partner in crime, the Asianest man I know, Asian Joe.
Good evening. That's how you intro me, huh?
I'm gonna tell you right now what happened there.
You're the Asian Joe.
Yeah, you knew it. Okay, as long as you knew where I'm coming from with that. I wasn't proud of it. It came out before I could stop it.
How are you this evening?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Went to a little local wrestling last night, so got to see Mike Bennett in action. Was that fun?
What time was that?
Last night it was about 9 something.
Oh, I thought you said 2 nights. So I'm like,
No,
how did you
last
go
night.
to that?
No, Friday night. Last night. He
That
told
was
me old Rick Rude where he was in 2 places at the same night.
That's why I was like, what is going on here?
And, they were on Rampage, and then
That would have been impressive. Saying hello to our chat. Hey, Ashford. Hey, 1LT Colonel Photo. Lieutenant Colonel Photo now. Okay. All right. Was it a good show?
it was good. They put on a good product.
What's the
promotion?
Yeah. Thank you.
Magnum Wrestling.
Magnum?
You
As
know,
in like PI?
well, I thought you were going to go somewhere else with Magnum.
I go with the 80s reference. I know where you thought I was going. But I went with PI.
Yes, but yes, Magnum. It was the promotion that was ran by the late Jason Strife, who had passed away last year.
Oh, okay.
So,
What was the main event? Sorry.
it was Mike Bennett versus their champion. I forget his first name. Last name is Fowler. He's a local guy.
Oh, nice. Anyone else that I would know there?
That's the only national name, or no. Sometimes they bring in 2 people, but I think the last month might have been Dirty Dango.
Oh, okay, yeah. That took me a second. Yeah, that's it's tough for the indies, man. Not like paying for those. You got to bring them in because you want to bring people in, but if you bring them,
Yeah, I don't know how they do it. I mean, this promotion years ago, like they brought in AJ when he was a free agent, before he signed with the WWE. They had Drew Galloway before he returned back to the E. They had Bobby Lashley for a while come through and do some shows before he went back. I'm like, I don't know how they afford those guys.
I mean, I know that's why a lot of those promotions do the sponsorship stuff, like sponsor a match or a wrestler.
Yeah, or like sponsorships or a lot of like the workshops or seminars, and
yeah, it's just tough. But yeah, that would make sense. I guess if you have someone like, again, I don't know that they did this, but Mike Bennett, it would have been a perfect example, being like, hey, we have Mike Bennett coming and go to his wrestling class because the guy can tell you a ton about wrestling.
I think they did some promo classes with him before the show.
Yeah, that makes sense. You're paying for multiple things there, and you can have multiple people pay for it. That works. Aside from watching your local independent wrestling promotion, sounded very official there. Did you watch Rampage?
I did. I came home and watched it. I watched SmackDown and Rampage that I recorded. So,
so I'll run down the card real quick, and then we can chit chat. Wow, I did magic hands there. We had the Undisputed Kingdom, which I will always call something wrong, of Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, and Roger Strong, with Adam Cole Wardlow on the side, versus Chaos, of Orange Cassidy, Rocky Romero, and Trent Barrett. Obviously, remember if you watched Dynamite, Chucky's still hurt, and now he's hurt worse. Then the UK, no, yeah, no, that's right. The UK won. And then you have, so we'll go back to that. And then you have the Young Bucks, Matthew Jackson and Nicholas Jackson, defeat Mondo Rocks and Robbie Litt. I don't know who those guys are. And that's not a knock on them. That was kind of the purpose. They brought in more unknown talent. And you had Mystico with some of his buddies defeat Matt Sydal. And we wound up the night with Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale with Stokely. I can't forget the Stokester defeating the Outcast with Harley Cameron. Okay, so that was our card, winners and losers. Anything stick out to you?
No, I thought it was actually a really pretty solid card for Rampage. Usually, sometimes Rampage can have a throwaway kind of miss show, but you had the United Kingdom on there, or Undisputed Kingdom.
You did it! You did it! It's not just me.
Undisputed Kingdom. You had those guys on there. You had the advancement of the Ruby and Saraya Outcast story. Really a pretty entertaining show, I thought.
Yeah, I want to know what the note Ruby Red said.
I don't know. I thought it was going to be like some kind of note to find someone to give it to Angelo, but I didn't know what.
It seems like it was a note from Angelo, so I'm very curious what it said. And I have a feeling it's like Saraya is setting this all up to break us. Like, I have a feeling that's what it is, which is fine with me. But I know that story's not for everyone. But I actually enjoy it. Because there's so many other women's stories right now. I don't mind a sillier one. That wouldn't work for me if you didn't have like 4 or 5 others, but you do. Rocky Romero always taking the pins. It's not Roppongi nice, guys.
I mean, I understand why. I mean, because, Chuck Taylor's not there.
No, that's true. You got to have someone take the pin. I thought that was what Thomas Gibbons saying. Maybe the note said, "Can we talk?" That would actually be really funny. If that's all it said. Will you go out with me with a yes and no box?
It has a little thing we go like.
What are they called? I don't know what they're called. By the way, just anyone wants to know, I'm going through the Collision opening shot right now. Mystico versus Matt Sydal was fun. I mean, they're very good wrestlers. They've gone at it as far back as WWE, and they've wrestled since then, I think. So that was actually like a lot of fun for a random Rampage match. I think the Young Bucks story is just incredible.
Yeah, they keep elevating it to different levels.
I mean, yes, and they had those guys beat multiple times. Big G pointing out it's called a cootie catcher. They had those guys beat multiple times, and they kept punishing them, which is not Young Buckish. Like, that is not what they did in the past, even when they were heels. And then, at least in my memory, maybe they did it in New Japan, but I wasn't really watching as much then. And then their promo after wishing Sting and Darby to get well, like, that's just as they wore the blood-stained outfits. You have Claudio Castagnoli and John Moxley walking out from the back for their match. Claudio's always wears his what is it, animal design, like the cartoon animal design thing, and I love it because it really is just those woodland creatures from South Park. That's really what it is. I don't know if you were a South Park guy.
Early on, like halfway through, and then somewhere along the line, I just stopped. I don't know if I didn't have Comedy Central for a while or what.
Oh man, the woodland creatures episode is a classic, but I get it. Brendan Haney saying that he's always thrilled when Justin Roberts is in here for a Mox match. I know Justin Roberts is polarizing for a lot of people. I I don't mind them, but I get like when you take big swings like that, you're gonna have people feel multiple ways about it. Like you're never gonna get everyone happy. And yeah, Brian's Woodland Creatures does have a eye patch, which is just amazing. Now, I'd be curious to see who wins this match because they're going against CMLL guys again, aren't they?
I believe so. They're still running this program with them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that it wasn't a one-off. Like they're giving us an actual story, like as weird as it is. Um,
I feel like they keep adding more and more people from CMLL up here.
I think CMLL. I will never say that right on my first try. I think CMLL just has so many people. I like here's our entire roster. Do what you want with it.
Yeah, I'm not going to pretend I don't know CMLL that well, so I don't know many of these people.
Me neither. This
That's
apparently is. Yeah, and this has been fun. This is apparently Star Junior and is Esfinge Esfinja. I don't. Brendan Haney saying these guys are not really stars. Is CMLL. That guy's name is Star Junior, so he may be a junior star, but he's still a star.
That reminds me of like Junior Star Search.
Before there was American Idol. Before there was America's Got Talent. There was Star Search.
It
And
taught
if you
me.
think,
It taught me fractions. I knew like what 3 3/4 stars was.
and if you think about it, Star Search, like American Idol was American Idol, but um, Star Search and America's Got Talent are more closely, where they would just pull in all random people. You know how I know about Star Search?
Not having hobbies as a child.
No, I had no hobbies, but that's not how. It still stems from no hobby. Actually, no, technically true, technically accurate. But Joey Gladstone performed on it,
It all comes back to Full House for you.
or any sitcom. Yes, admit it. I'm a sitcom guy. Um, I would love to know, and obviously we're not going to get this answer because it's so in the weeds with everything. But why they're choosing which guys to wrestle these matches for CMLL?
I don't know. Maybe you get some reps and you get some exposure.
Oh yeah, probably. But I'm just thinking like, you're going against Moxley and Castagnoli. Do you have two guys that you think are better against those guys? Do you have like
All these guys you can just like go up against high caliber people who have been to a very high level.
that's fair. That's kind of weird. Like when people want to know backstage stuff, that's kind of like one of the weird things I would love to know. Like, is this like a pitching matchup? Like, and then Daniel Garcia versus Shane Taylor is
Mhm.
gonna be. I feel bad for the Outrunners.
They just keep getting squashed by one guy. They're gonna
That's
lose
why I
again.
feel. I know, and that's why I feel bad for them because they're a fun team. Like they deserve a good run in ROH, and
It's not like they're small guys. They're big guys. They shouldn't lose 2-on-1.
exactly like it. Just you could have pulled any, or you could have. You know what you could have done? You could have put You could have put two random guys who don't actually tag together in a tag match. They don't even have to be good. Like they don't even be bad. They don't have to be like, oh, we chose whatever. You could just chose taking two guys from the indies who don't tag together and say, here you're tagging to lose, because then they don't care. They're
Yeah,
not a tag team.
not a team that is routinely on AEW and ROH.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point.
Hmm.
We have some good teamwork here by the CMLL guys. Whoa. So they went to go dive out of the ring with like a tope suicida, and Moxley and Castagnoli are very smart, so they moved. But the one CMLL guy, and I don't know which is which, did like a flip over the ring post to catch himself, the ropes. It was pretty interesting. I've never seen that before. And one lieutenant colonel photo agreed. I don't like established tag teams getting shit on unless that is the purpose of the tag team, even outside of the story you're telling. Like some tag teams do exist just to lose, and that's fine. But Outrunners only exist to lose in these matches, and then in ROH, they're they lose, but they also win. Like they're competitive. Like I don't get it. But whatever. Ooh, we're doing a swing. You spin me right round, baby, right. I love Claudio. He just is. He's just very good at this wrestling thing.
It's like you've been doing it for a long time.
Kind of. I mean, but I don't think, maybe. I think he's probably got like 2 years in.
He has a bright future.
This kid's got something. Thomas Gibbons saying some people were speculating on a pay-per-view with CMLL in Mexico on the Fightful AEW Dynamite review. That would have been with Kate, and we don't trust her. But all things considered, I mean, if it's with them, I'd watch it. I mean, I don't really feel like paying $50 for it, but at the same point, if you gave me it at a decent price, I'd want to see that.
That'd be
That's
interesting.
not a knock on CMLL. I just know so little about it. Yeah, and Okada's last match with NJPW is this morning. Also this morning on NJPW is Bryan Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr. in a submission match.
Yeah, the card for today is wow.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Ospreay's last match too, right?
Yeah, he's doing his United Empire versus who are they facing? Five Guys?
Oh, just Five Guys? Okay. I'm like, Five Guys, the burger joint. That shows how not into I mean, I like NJ. Like, I like New Japan.
Okay. War Dogs.
War
I get all my
War Dogs
factions
are great.
confused, and sometimes like which ones are going with which, and New Japan.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, again, I don't want anyone to think just because I'm not knowing my New Japan stuff that I don't think it's good. There's only so much time in the day.
Yeah, because I'm the Asianest person you know, so that doesn't bode well for you.
Which isn't even true, but it just went with the song. I really I started because I was singing it and I stopped singing and I just said it and I'm like, oh, I regret that. If I had sung it, it would have been fine because it would have just went with the song.
Yes, Scott George, I believe that's correct. I believe they're doing the War Dogs and United Empire in a cage match.
I like the War Dogs.
What's better than whatever the Bullet Club Gold?
Bang bang
Bang Bang Gang.
bang bang bangity bang. Is that a bang bang bangity bang? Here's my thing. I know I'm not going to be one to sit here and say that losing Okada and Ospreay is good. I mean, here's your promotion. There's no argument I can make that it's good. Now, at least for Ospreay, you have the benefit that he is going to a company that you have a great relationship with, so you can bring him back for big matches and stuff. So you don't lose him completely. If Okada goes to AEW, you have the same thing, but still, you are losing him. The only upside is it looks like already there are guys in New Japan stepping up. Like you look at Gabriel Kidd, and he looks like he's just ready to pop off. Like it does, and I'm not saying this is good. But
it's a new, I mean, I think all established promotions go through these phases of the next generation come through of stars.
Yeah.
I mean, remember, like, you always think, oh, what are they going to do without, The Rock and Stone Cold and all the guys, and you guys develop and show up and show out and carry the torch.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's a perfect example, and I don't want to compare one's developmental and one's not, but it is NXT in the sense because NXT constantly is losing its people because they go away,
Mhm.
and you might have a rough couple months as people try to figure out who really is going to be the one to step up and not just on paper be the next one, but actually be the next one. But someone always does.
Mhm.
Um, you know, we're in picture, which I'll be honest, they say don't miss a second with picture in picture, but I miss many seconds with picture in picture. Oh my
Did
god, for a
you
second there, it looked like the guy was twisting Claudio's nipple. He wasn't, but it looked like he was.
Ooh, the good old nip twist.
That's a move I would use.
It's right up there with the old-fashioned dick twist,
Whatever it takes to win.
you know? Lie, steal, cheat, twist.
Beat and tickle.
That's the
Not
weirdest
enough
that sounds like a weird Bop It game.
it does, but I'm just saying not enough wrestlers go for the tickle.
Oh, yeah, if someone had you, like, in a head scissor, you would totally try to tickle them.
100%. I wonder, and I obviously this is not wrestling because in wrestling that could work because it's wrestling and you have silliness. But I'm wondering if like if you're in the UFC and you see a guy try that, what would happen?
Mm.
So what this has been a good match. Good, I mean,
Yeah,
not unexpected. I think what surprised me most about these CMLL guys, and not just Hishishero or however he says his name, is they're far more technical than I expected.
mhm. Yeah,
You
they're not
know, I
just you're not just seeing, like, commanders out there, like, running
yeah,
around the world
exactly.
doing flips.
I was expecting commanders or even like Mystico, who's big there. Like I was expecting those guys, and you have these guys who are like the dude in yellow. And I apologize for people who want names. I'm just very bad at it if I haven't seen you more than once. Um, he did a really nice like technical submission on Mox there.
I'm gonna guess the guy in blue is the Star Junior since he has stars on his pants.
Does he really? I didn't even notice that. Okay, so Star Junior is blue. Okay, so the guy in yellow is the name I can't pronounce. Esfinge. Esfinge. Guys, if you can't tell, I don't know how to speak other languages. Joe, can you speak any other languages?
I took 4 years of high school Spanish,
Took
so
two.
no. I can maybe understand, like, bits and pieces if it's, like, really slowed down or if it's written down or something, maybe I can read it a little bit and get the gist of it, but not even close to being fluent.
Yeah, I am English only. I wish I could. I really do. Be cool
Like,
to be able to speak multiple languages, but when you're a kid and it's time to learn, your brain just doesn't want to do that.
not more than you have to.
Yeah, agreed. Scott George saying the other Esfinge is stealing Bandito's gimmick. It's a little bit slightly different of a mask, but it's close. I mean, Bandito is the coolest mask in all of wrestling, in my opinion.
True.
Thomas Gibson thinks Doink may have tried to tickle people. That would be very doinkish. If Kate were here, we'd be start talking about Big Josh.
Wow, heck of a kick.
Very. Well, that was interesting. It was a press slam into a cutter, which I've seen that before, but it was the way it was delivered. Like
Very
Moxley was almost casual about it.
very slow and deliberate.
Yes, like it was almost like casual. Like, all right, I guess we'll do this. Uh oh. Esfinge is trying to chop Moxley and Claudio, and neither one of them are about that life. So to me, the story in all these matches has been, and is that the CMLL guys are way more talented and have way more to give than the BCC originally would have expected walking into these matches. Like I know the BCC is talk tough, but it feels like the BCC keeps getting caught by surprise that they're being taken to the limit in each of these matches.
Star Junior tapped pretty quick in there.
Wow, I would too. I mean,
He didn't even try it.
well, I mean, once you're fully in that armbar, there's no getting out of it. That's the irony. There's levels to an armbar, but once it's really sunk in, you're done. Unless you want to have your arm broken, but I'd rather not. Mox is getting on the microphone.
Like it's been a while for Mox. This Mox bled.
Yeah, we need to cut. I'll go run in and cut him real quick. What if he never bleeds again?
Exactly, Brendan. It's like, who would have bet Claudia would be the one bleeding and not Mox?
Step up or get stepped on. Wait, whose music is this? Oh. Oh.
You say whose music was this? Come on.
I don't. I have it silenced. As soon as
No.
he finished talking, I put it on, so I had to then say because I could just see the lights,
No.
and I knew that wasn't the BCC's lights. Oh, this I like. I believe the phrase is "daddy likey."
Not going to touch that one.
Aw, there's a bit of a height difference here.
A little bit. Yeah.
It's actually kind of fun.
I didn't think Mox was that tall.
Mox is, I think, surprisingly not big, but bigger than I think.
Maybe 6. I don't know. I feel like he's like 6'3".
Yeah, you're right. That's not that tall. And I think FTR is like my height of like 5'10".
No, Mox is billed at 6'1".
Okay. Well, I think Claudio is also skewing it too, though, because Claudio is towering over everyone.
Dax is 5'10". Cash is also 5'10".
I want to know who. Yeah, that's my height. I don't think guys who are 6'1" tower over me. That's funny. Who are the guys in the colorful tights?
I know. Those are the
Carly
guys.
Bravo.
Those are the guys who should be taking the L against Brian Cage.
I have no idea who they are.
But yeah, I'm interested about this whole FTR Blackpool Combat Club feud now, because FTR is feuding with the House of Black.
So, someone online. So Seth Rollins made like a very in character comment that he'll wrestle Punk in a year or two until his next injury.
Mhm.
And then someone said that's rich considering how much time Seth needs off for injury, which I don't believe is accurate. But he replied, "Dog, I've taken less time off for injuries in the last 12 years, and the other champ has taken off for vacation in the last 2 years." Accurate. I mean, I don't fault Roman. You're giving your
Oh. More smarter, not harder.
That's what I would do. I mean, so since we're on commercial right now, I'm going to ask because it's wrestling related. But are you into the adjusted storyline for Mania?
They've added. I mean, they got the. I mean, we're getting the match apparently that everyone wanted still, right? And we just went a roundabout way to adding more layers to the bloodline stuff. So like every time you feel, I feel like every time the Bloodline story feels like it's like winding down, like nope, we're gonna keep adding more layers to it.
Yeah. So I kind of said this online. I'll probably by the end talk myself into it because I like to talk myself into things. Um, I'm a big Cody guy, like a huge Cody fan. I was a huge Cody fan before he AEW started and over. I haven't liked his booking in WWE, but I'm a huge Cody guy. So I was very excited when he won the Rumble, and it seemed like they weren't going to play any games. This was his time. It was his story.
Mhm.
So it's very tough for me to get into this because he looks like he's the most easily manipulated man in the history of the world. First, he does what The Rock says. Then he does what Drew and Seth say. Meanwhile, totally ignoring that he claimed that he's not going to wrestle Roman at Mania. So they're ignoring that.
Right.
So he looks easily manipulated. And now his story isn't his story. It's a bloodline story again. It's about Rock in the blood, protecting the bloodline. Like it becomes more than like
Well,
straight up.
yeah, there's two stories to me.
Problem is, to me, the stories were less tied in when it was Roman has his story, the bloodline, and Cody's story is that Cody's become undeniable.
Yeah.
Now it's yes, there's still kind of that Cody's undeniable, but a lot of it has now been tied into well, now you got The Rock, and Cody's going to have to do something with The Rock because of the bloodline.
Mm.
It just keeps. I'm just not. And through it all, they made Seth look like the ultimate chump.
Yeah, until the very end of that, until the end of the press conference thing where he finally like jumped in and came to the defense of Cody and started mouthing back at him.
Yeah, but he stood there that whole time as everyone tried to settle a feud that had nothing to do with him.
I was surprised how easily Roman kind of sidestepped and let Rock talk for him the rest of the night.
Yeah.
So I'm interested about that. I was like, if this sets up for a Roman Rock next WrestleMania, then cool.
The funny thing is, if you and I truly believe this, if you Daniel Bryan, listen, I want to finish this, but Daniel Bryan's entrance video
Garcia,
on that collision set.
Daniel Garcia.
Sorry, Jesus Christ, Daniel, I'm having a night. Daniel Garcia's entrance video on that screen,
Yeah, it was just like
amazing. It just, I know Kate always jokes about, oh, that collision set is amazing, but it is really good, especially with the right wrestler. But anyway, what I was saying is, if Cody had won last year, obviously you don't have any problems. You could have actually had Cody and Roman again at Mania. Well, no, you could have had Rock and Roman at Mania this year, but you could have had a Cody Roman story where Roman was trying to get Cody back. Rock was kind of supporting Roman because Roman's in the bloodline. And then Roman loses his goddamn mind and then Rock has to be like, I can't do this with you anymore. You could have got more out of it, and they just didn't do it. Just stupid. But we are getting Shane Taylor versus Daniel Garcia, and that's a freaking match.
you need to add more people to Shane Taylor promotions besides Lee.
It sounds like they're leaning that way. I mean, there's been talks about adding people. I don't know who they'll add. I don't want someone young, someone to step up and be like, like Lee Moriarty's a great addition. Shane Taylor's great. Like, give me one guy who just rounds this out.
Well, hell, just throw Top Flight with them.
They might have to if they're going to be going against the youngest buckest. I love that Taylor wrestles in boxing shorts.
Mm-hmm.
Just fits his personality and his character well. Are they going to have Garcia at some point lift Taylor off the ground? That'll be a story. What is on Daniel Garcia's pants, by the way? Do you know? Is it just like random paint or is that like a design?
I mean, it looks like a design, but I don't know.
Someone in the chat knows, please tell me. It's always bothered me. Like, what is it? And Lieutenant Colonel Photo, sorry. It looks like they're doing nothing. He wanted to know what Daddy Magic and Cool Hand are doing, and it looks like they're doing nothing together.
Except when they did like the random like 8-man tag with against the MLL. Otherwise, yeah, they're kind of their own separate like tag matches with Dan Garcia and Cool Hand and Angie kind of with the whole like Rubies. So
Exactly. So I would say, I'd say they're doing nothing.
yeah, I mean they're still on TV, they're just not doing a lot.
Someone's at my door, so can you run this for like 2 seconds?
Yep.
Thanks.
All right, Ryan's gone. So if you want to talk bad about Ryan, please do so in the chat. I was watching after last week's Daniel Garcia's match, and then I saw he went to Alpha One in Hamilton, Ontario, Ethan Page's promotion, and wrestled like that following night. That'd be quite a flight going from like deep in Texas to Ontario. Ooh, Shane Taylor getting nasty with the Garcia dance. Oh, ooh, slapped the nipple off him. What do you guys think? Do you think Daniel Garcia will win a singles title this year? I know he was a pure champion, but you think he'll win like, CNC championship or something else like that? Ooh. Go into picture in picture. Oh my goodness. That's fair, Scott George. I think maybe he doesn't win a single championship, but maybe he can win a trios title with FTR. They could feud with, Blackpool Combat Club and House of Black for a little bit. Looking at other matches on the Collision card, they're promoting another Saturday night with another 2 women's matches, so that's good. I think that's only going to grow when Mercedes inevitably debuts. I don't know what commercials are on for you guys in this picture in picture. Right now, I have like a pharmaceutical drug commercial. Always wonder why they're always so cheerful and like upbeat songs or people dancing or something weird like that. I've never understood why someone's that happy about diabetic drugs, but just my observation. Shane Taylor with a cradle, Danny with a kick out. And now we're full commercial. Okay.
Yeah. Weirdest experience of my life.
I don't know.
Uber Eats.
Yeah.
It was an Uber Eats guy,
Mhm.
and he went to 2 different doors on my house. So I chased him around. I didn't order Uber Eats, so it was very confusing. He was at the wrong house, but he didn't understand that. So he went to the front door and then he went to a side door, and I was chasing him down, not chasing him, but trying to figure out who the hell's going to my doors. And then when I got him, it's here's your order. I'm I didn't order anything. He's yeah, you did. I'm But if I ordered something, I would have already paid. I'd be taking it.
This sounds like the best swatting scenario ever. Like, oh, someone delivered food to my house.
If it was swatting, I'd be on the ground in handcuffs, and not in a
Well, I
fun
mean,
way.
I'm gonna say that's just a regular Saturday night.
Yeah. Scott, if it was Girl Scout cookies and I was able to buy them, I would be sitting here with just the boxes. That's why I'm out of breath. I was like running, not running, but walking quickly to get them. Being like, where are you? Um, and I could have had free food, but then somebody wouldn't have their food, and I think that's rude.
Well, you should be like, what is it? And then you decide.
No, I don't like that, so we're not going to go with that. I mean, in fairness, it's just because the numbering is all messed up here, but still.
I posed a question when you were gone if we thought that Daniel Garcia would win individual gold this year, or if he's destined to be a trio champion.
He's going to win individual gold.
I mean, I know he was a pure champion, but like, I wonder if he could win like a TNC championship sometime, or
he's going to win the Continental title.
There you go. Yeah.
Ophelia's saying getting winded from walking is mood. It sure is. I think it was more going up the steps. I mean, I could defend it by saying I get out of breath. Like I used to get out of breath even when I was in shape walking up steps, but in this case, that's not what happened. I'm just very out of shape. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that to his leg. Oh, no.
He's been working that leg all match.
That's what you got to do to a big guy. Break them down.
I was also talking about how impressive it was. I thought with last week, Garcia was wrestling. I think was it Dynamite or Rampage last week, and then he flew out to Hamilton to wrestle in Ethan Page's Alpha One.
Oh yeah.
So we're going from Texas to deep in Texas to Ontario and having their like two like hard matches.
Deep in the heart of Texas. Yeah, no, that's impressive. That's the life of a wrestler, just traveling all over the.
I'd be so again, I'm winded after walking the stairs, so I can't imagine like bumping all night and then like getting up and I'm gonna go wrestle again, and not just taking a week to recover.
I can't imagine bumping once and getting up and being like, all right, let's keep going. So apparently, wrestling purist, the aggregator place, put something out that a quote from Tony Khan when he was on a place called Sports Grid that said, New Japan has a great young roster right now. President Hiroshi Tanahashi is a perfect leader for the organization at the right time, and it's great working with New Japan and CMLL. I'm very excited about Forbidden Door 3, which makes you believe that CMLL is going to be involved in Forbidden Door 3.
Sure. Oh, wow. Impressive. All that work on that leg paid off.
I love that. Like, I hate when a guy works on a body part.
Mm-hmm.
Not all the time, but but when it doesn't come into the fact to the finish, it's like, then what were we doing? It was a fun match from what I said. So I mean, when I wasn't chasing an Uber driver, Uber Eats guy who wasn't me, for me. I really want Shane Taylor to add a third person, but I don't know who it'll be. Here is that beatdown. The EVP sugar. Love the fake tans. Uh-oh. It's Edward Kingston.
Ooh, Public Enemy shirt. Nice. Ryan, you should line up your eyebrow like Eddie.
Like, do the cuts?
Yeah, I like that.
No, I'm all right. I'm not cool enough to pull that off. You have to have a certain je ne sais quoi to pull that off, and I do not. So Danielson versus Kingston again at Revolution with the caveat that if Kingston wins, Danielson has to shake his hand out of respect.
Hell yeah.
Love it. Lexi Nair on Collision versus ROH, it's almost like a different interviewer.
Mhm.
Like she's much more serious on Collision. On ROH, she's just a goofball, and I love it. You know, someone should tell Brian Cage that his face paint has been all melted off, and we can see the metal behind it.
Yeah, but
Get
why
it?
is there a mascot there?
I guess cross promotion. Wait, that is Hook.
That's okay.
I'm telling you right now, it's Hook.
That would make sense. Yes.
That is Wrestling 101. That is Hook. You see
Yeah.
a mascot, and it's the guy in the feud.
That's great because Hook is that animated and as a mascot.
Which, yeah, I mean, it would be funny if the mascot was just doing nothing. I mean, here's the problem here, and I'm going to be perfectly honest. I know, again, Hook beat these guys, so there's like a level of thing here. But Brian Cage is only slightly bigger than these guys. Like, it's not a uh, a huge size differential where one guy should land a punch and the big guy gets mad. You're like, oh no, oh no, oh no, because it's like you're all massive men. Well, that's a nice submission. I don't know what you call it. Colonel photo. I hope you can get a sign at Revolution.
Like a clover leaf and
See if I'm right.
well, they're pretty quick, so yeah, I'm sure. Give me shenanigans.
Hey, Farver, what's the name of that place you love with all the crazy shit on the wall? What do you mean shenanigans? Oh,
I didn't say we're gonna pistol whip anyone.
no, I still love that. That is, I hear shenanigans and that's where my brain goes.
I'm hoping this is Hook. This is great.
I mean, because it's the most animated we've ever seen Hook. I mean, he's doing. Oh no, never mind. You wouldn't have him go down like that. I mean, then again, he could reverse something and catch Brian Cage by surprise. Never mind. Oh, I'm upset now. Oh, I was wrong, and I'm very upset. More upset because, like you, I thought it meant we'd see Hook more animated than we've seen him ever in this company. Or Las Vegas. And Knights mascot. Oh my god, he's still down.
He sells very well.
It does. Now, my question to you, and this has nothing to do with what we're seeing on screen, which is the oh no, before we do that, why is the Stone Pitbull with a UK? That man has no neck. So, my question to you was, I was going to ask. So they ran Vegas
Mm-hmm.
tonight. Also in Vegas
We had a busy weekend in Vegas.
is the Super Bowl.
Big
Do you
game.
think that makes sense at all? Like, I know they just got rid of their live events guys, so like, part of me could say, hey, but also I'm thinking like, is there any logic to it where you're like, hey, we might get people who are looking for something to do on the Saturday night before the Super Bowl?
Yeah. And plus, you have media. You have a lot of eyeballs and attention, and people from out of town. Like, why not be a part of the spectacle that weekend? It's kind of like WrestleMania. Everyone has wrestling shows in that area that same weekend.
This is in Henderson, Nevada. How close is that to Vegas, Scott? Because that's where the Kings play. Not the Kings, the Knights play.
It's all right there. Henderson and like Paradise, whatever it's called. Like, it's all.
Listen, it's not my fault that these other cities put their stadiums outside their city.
It's all within like a couple miles of Las
Yeah,
Vegas.
you're right that the press alone is a good idea. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, so like
Think about that.
why suppose WWE had their press conference out there?
Well, I know why WWE did it. Like, I understood the press for them, and I know that seems stupid that I'm like, I could understand it for one for the other, but theirs was literally just a press spectacle.
Mm-hmm.
This was a whole, but you get a lot of bored people out there because Super Bowl week is weird.
Yeah. Well, that's why I saw like Tony and all a bunch of AEW people did that press row. So they were doing promoting AEW and everything else.
Yeah, and I saw Soraya apparently did a lot of stuff. Brendan, no, Jeff Jarrett is not the AEW live events guy. It was some other guy. Jeff Jarrett had something to do when they wanted to do house shows and stuff, and he helps out with that. But the guy who was actually booking and doing all the scheduling was another guy, and he left to go work for some team. It wasn't Madison Square Garden, was it? Or the Barclays Center? Might have been Barclays. I think he went to work for Barclays. And so now they brought someone else in.
Who's your Super Bowl pick, by the way?
I'm going Chiefs, I guess.
Yeah, I go Chiefs until someone proves me otherwise.
That's kind of my feeling on it. Like they've entered that.
San Francisco is more
level.
talented, like top to bottom, deeper roster, more talented roster overall. But
yeah, so okay, it's the Barclays Center then. Scott Georgia saying it. Works for Brooklyn Nets. That's Barclays. Yeah, they are a deeper roster, but like they haven't looked good in the playoffs at all.
Niners.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking that game against Detroit. That wasn't like Detroit gave them that game.
Green Bay was about 2 or 3 plays away from beating them. Unless he needs to grow his hair out. I hope
Who needs to grow his hair out?
Copeland.
I mean, he's an old man now.
Yeah, but he has hair still. It's not he can't.
I know, but he looks in like that aging rocker who can't give up.
But Copeland.
Adam, 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 Adam.
I think they're going one way to say Adam. That's not it.
You thought what?
There's only one way to say Adam, and that's not it.
Adam, 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 Adam. I'm not gonna
Yes.
scream and hurt my ears, but
We had some, Mike Bennett marks of the show last night. They were screaming, Adam. He gave him a good neck strong pose.
nice.
Save the claims. That's what I'm talking about, Brendan. If you got hair, let it grow.
Let it grow. Let it grow. Always back to the cage, man. Whoa.
Oh. Garcia wants a TNT championship? Look at that. Making my question look relevant earlier.
It does, and for the title you were talking about.
Yeah, actually, I didn't think about the Continental one until you mentioned it. Mm.
Sorry for the silence, but we're listening to the promo, everyone.
Dynamite between these two. All right. No, Adam. You cages veteran, you. I don't buy that argument.
Say it again.
Oh, Copeland, you're threatening to take food off my family's table. Like, you're a millionaire.
Yeah, no, that's not true at all.
You're not a starving artist. But it
No,
feels
like, but
this you turn Copeland heel eventually.
like if you're Copeland, you could lose every single match and you're still going to get paid a lot of money. Hold on. Like, yeah, that's terrible justification. But I am interested in Daniel Garcia being thrown into that feud and that stuff because that's elevating him to a much higher level that I'm very much into.
Oh gosh.
I love it. Our Rampage crew is here. Wait, why is why? Oh my God, Ryan.
Stokely we're making full house references.
Oh, sorry. I was.
He said we're like Full House. I'm Dan Taylor. That was I think was, and then was Stephanie maybe, and then Willow was
Okay, no.
Michelle.
All right, sorry. I'll be 100% honest. I got distracted having to ban someone from our chat for the first time ever. That wasn't a porn bot.
And then talking about how Sky Blue and then shop at Hot Topic buying Evanescence
See,
t-shirts.
and you wonder why I'm constantly referencing Full House because it's relevant.
He's a big man.
He's a very big man. I've seen him in person, and he is a big dude in person too.
At the same time, he's probably like the nicest member of the House of Black.
That's what I've always heard. I hear he's just like a really good dude.
Martin wrote. I don't think you're not Mark, but good to see you.
This is an interesting matchup because There's not a lot of whatever behind this. I mean, there is some, but not like.
Well,
Though they've probably wrestled before. Thinking about it, right? Like they've wrestled and they probably have wrestled in ROH.
yeah, and like trio matches and things like that.
Oh, that's true.
It feels like a Continental Classic battle.
It does feel like. Oh, did they wrestle in the Classic? They might have done that too, and I'm forgetting.
I don't know.
Chop. I like that Mark is uh, going out on his own to be a single star because obviously he said he won't ever tag with someone else, so it's very tough to just try to get him uh, to be in a trio, like random trios. Like let the guy just do his own thing.
Mm-hmm. How much money would it take you to take a chop?
From who?
I don't know. You pick.
No, I'll be honest, not that much.
Okay.
I'm not pretending like it won't hurt like a bitch and I won't make a whole scene out of it, but not that much. I'm I'm willing to deal with that.
Who would you
How
want
about
to?
you?
Who would you want to take a chop from? Like, I feel like there should be like an honor and respect thing of like being able to, being chopped by someone. Like who's known for their
If I'm
chop.
gonna get a chop, I want it by uh Brody, Eddie Kingston, JD Drake. Like I want it by a guy who's known for his chops. And has nothing to do with that. That has nothing to do with, like, oh, I'm tough and I can take these
Yeah,
chops. That's 100% like if you're gonna do it.
yeah. It's like a physical autograph.
So Cass from Body Slam, he was going around for a while getting chops and they really hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember him saying like Nyla's was probably the worst that he got.
Ooh. One. I'd be interested to feel like more like the overhand pentas chop that he does.
Yeah. That
That's
is
a nice one.
Penta, obviously then. It's a good
The different style.
there's a bug on me. Sorry, there's a bug on me.
Mark's gonna fly.
That was weird. I looked down and there was a bug crawling on me. I thought I had a stain on my shirt. I'm like, how did I get a stain on my shirt? And then it was just a bug crawling up me. That was weird.
Well, you have barbecue stain on your white t-shirt?
She was killing me in that mini skirt. Skipping rocks by the railroad track.
You were wearing a white shirt. It worked.
And honestly, that was really well done. Yeah, no, I would have been funny, but it was just like this. I guess when I ran outside, it must have been on me for a while, and it just started crawling up. I was like, "Oh, that's something."
Mark Briscoe telling fans to boo this man. mean, most time we boo Rick Knox.
Always boo Rick Knox.
Of all the things he lets go, he won't let Mark use a table.
Grand picture. So I am missing everything.
There's a lot of stuff outside the ring, per usual.
Oh, here, are we gonna get it? Are we gonna get a chop? Oh no, yeah, we are.
I feel like when in doubt, just chop. It's almost like a rest hold. The transition of like, I don't know what to do, but I'm going to chop you.
Yeah. Bret Hart hates it.
Well, Bret Hart's a man from a different era. Looking forward to having two women's matches tonight.
Yeah, it's about, I'm glad that Collision's becoming that show.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be nice if Dynamite could add a second, but at least we're getting something on Collision. It's starting to become like a real division.
And the main event was Orange and Ishii. You know you're going to get outside interference, or after the match, you're going to get jumped by
Yeah, Ishii's going to need all the help he can get.
Undisputed Kingdom. Stone Pitbull. Did you ever have a nickname? And was it cool as Stone Pitbull?
I mean, Schlong is technically a nickname.
I'm sorry.
Apparently, I didn't realize it would last as long.
I don't hear it as often anymore.
No, me either. I'm glad, to be quite honest.
Also, well done with I didn't think you were going to last this long. That is very apropos for the nickname.
My brain's just doing them naturally now, and that's a scary thing. I'm going to be in like a work professional meeting just making puns.
What's the origin of Schlong?
Oh, okay. So when I
predated me, so I don't remember how it happened.
So when I signed up for the Wizards Patreon and Discord,
which you encourage people to do,
yes, I encourage everyone to do it. The Discord is always pretty active, and the Patreon's a lot of fun. And it's good to support those guys, and we are on their network, so we don't see any of it, but still, it's good. But I signed up as Ryan S. So everything was Ryan S. So one day Matt's announcing all the Discord people, and he goes, the Patreon people, and he goes, Ryan S. And Tony being Tony Bus also goes, Ryan S. You can't say the guy's full name. And he's like, I don't know his full name. Is it Superman Schlong? Whatever. And I'm like, I literally text Kate and I was like, it has to be Schlong. Like I can't be anything besides Schlong at this point. And so that is literally the origin. Scott, they do, if you go to their Twitter, I think you can find the link on there. They want tables, guys.
Who doesn't? Well, thank you for enlightening me on the origin of Schlong.
Yeah. So that's how it started. It's not I'm glad it's kind of dying out because I'm not. So then my beginning bit on the show was Tip of the Schlong, because that's when I would just come in for a little bit. And then it obviously so I'm glad it's kind of dying out because I really don't want that to follow me forever. But I also just laugh at it. It's silly. How about you? You ever, besides Asian, you ever have a nickname?
I can tell the story behind Asian, but
I'm assuming there was a White Joe and you.
Uh,
They just said Asian Joe.
so yeah, the local sports talk here in town, and oftentimes I would text or tweet or whatever comments to the show, and they a lot of times they read people's comments on air, and there's multiple Joes who would call or text into the show, and one of them had like a horrible, like really bad take, and like so I would text in or call or tweet in, and then I had disclaimer of this is Asian Joe, not to be confused with the other Joe who called in with a horrible take of whatever.
Yeah, okay.
So
That's
yeah,
fair.
and then just stuck because I didn't find it as funny as people do. Some people find it like really funny that it just makes them feel odd to call someone Asian something.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't. How do I want to explain this? If you didn't introduce yourself as that, like if you didn't have that as your name, like your Twitter handle or whatever, or your YouTube thing, I would feel weird, like that was a nickname, because I wouldn't want to be a dick, being like, because honestly, in my head, I remember. Obviously, you're around my age. We're close enough that back when we were kids,
Ooh.
it wouldn't have been surprising to me if there were multiple Joes
Mm-hmm.
and you got to be Asian Joe. Like if there were like right now, if there were multiple Ryans. When we were kids, I would be like Fat Ryan, like instead like that, like
Right.
Fat Neil from Community. But
whatever physical description we can use.
yeah, exactly. So, but the fact that you brought it, I laugh. And then, of course, as we discovered at the beginning of this episode, I constantly sing the Ranger Joe song in my head, but it's always just Asian Joe, Asian Joe, Asian Joe. So, but yeah, that makes sense. I really thought it was what I said. Like, said, there's multiple Joes. You're Asian Joe. You're white Joe.
I mean, similar.
Yeah, but you were doing it in a funny way to differentiate yourself from a jackass.
But then it's fun, and then I'll go to work and people will listen to the shows like, "Are you Asian Joe?" Who they like say your name all sometimes. I'm like, yes, that's me. What gave it away?
Was it the Asian or the Joe part?
Yeah, no, the VP of operations. He'll listen to the show and talking about it.
Not for me. That guy is such a. Oh, sorry. That's really funny. Yeah, because it's not something you would say in a work setting. I'll tell you what, that move right there. So if you're not watching, which again, I always, unless you're Canadian, Canadians don't count because they don't get this. If you're an American, you probably should be watching. But anyway, what the hell? Briscoe was going to the top rope, and Julia Hart got in front of him. So Brody went behind and pushed him, which required Julia to duck so that he could clear her and make it to the table. That's actually like a pretty well executed move because she doesn't duck in time.
Nasty little pile driver. Would you call what Julia wears almost like a suit?
I assumed it was a suit. What would you call it?
Would you consider it like a pants?
Yeah. Why? What is someone calling it something else?
No, I'm just wondering. I'm just curious. I wonder if if Kate is jealous of her suit game like she is of Bobby Lashley's. If she's always she's always begging for a suit from someone, so maybe she should ask Julia for a suit.
Though I do have to laugh that the most evil thing a woman can do is wear a pantsuit.
Ooh, spiked him.
I thought they were gonna have. I'm gonna say there's something funny about it though, and this is gonna sound bad, but hear me out. There's no blood on the spike, and if you jam a spike into someone with that much blood,
at least they got him bleeding here.
Yeah, I'm just saying there's
yes.
It's a minor detail. It doesn't take away from anything.
I would have probably covered up. This sounds wrong, but I would have probably covered up the tip of the spike, so you wouldn't see it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would have wrapped it in something like black or red,
holding your hand so you can't see it's not bleeding.
Yeah. Or done like an exaggerated, like wiping it on your pants because she's wearing black. You would have never known the difference.
Oh, you got a gusher.
But yeah, he got himself good when he
The spike went in and out really quick. So clean. What did you do? Why is our Canadian?
Ophelia yelling at me because I
Oh.
mentioned Canadians and she's Canadian and she can't
right.
watch it. Is there a weird filter going on right now? Like I know it's the lights of the collision thing, but it almost makes like Brian Keith in like a tunnel. Maybe it's just the way I'm seeing it.
It's fine for me. Why does Brian Keith sometimes sound like Ice Cube? Like when he turns a little bit, he looks a little bit like Cube.
I don't know, but now I can see it.
Yeah, some of the mannerisms with his mouth and like how he enunciates some of the words, it just looks like a very Ice Cube way of doing things.
SJ's at the J Cup. That's awesome.
Yeah, she's there with Mrs. Money.
That's awesome. J Cup's that's probably a really good time.
Well, it's not tonight. I think they were there at the J Cup last night. I think they're at Static X and Seven Dust tonight.
Yeah, they are because it's harder to have fun at Static Dust.
But yeah, they saw like Nick Wayne and them at the J Cup.
I'm getting commercials for hockey.
I am too. Okay, Jewelers.
Well, every kiss begins with K.
Mm-hmm. I hate proposing. It's a very stressful thing.
That's right. I've never had to do it.
Has anyone ever proposed to you? That'd be funny.
I wish, but no.
And I wish in my
Listen.
head, I wish that you were like this high maintenance person.
Oh my god.
And the person had to like you had everything planned out how it was to happen.
Listen, you get to wine and dine me. I want the ring picked out properly.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're proposing to me, I get the ring. I want it at a special place with like a beautiful background. I don't want anyone else around.
Mm-hmm.
And then after, we go meet up with friends and family.
Wow, Ryan has his like whole wedding book planned.
Have I basically stolen that from everyone I know that's gotten engaged? Yes.
Yes, it's pretty like control copy paste.
To love you. Yeah, I mean that's. I think all of my friends. That's what they did. They proposed, and then after they went and found like the friends and family met up.
Mm-hmm. All right, Thomas. Thank you for clearing that up. Look at that. Talking about the screwdriver and the nail and the bleeding, lack of blood on.
Okay. Fair enough.
Maybe if this was a really fast jab that doesn't come away clean.
Yeah, I guess I just always assumed if you jab someone with something enough to make them bleed, there's gonna be blood on it. By the way, I really want I don't know what maybe I saw a picture of like this a Samoan like one of the Samoan families on Twitter, but it made me really want like Seth Rollins or somebody to come out with their own Samoan family tree and just have it be something ridiculous.
Samoa Joe and the rest.
The virtuosa.
Speaking of Jersey. New
Apparently, oh yeah, I like that rope.
It looks like curtains in someone's personal library.
That's really funny. She couldn't find anything, so she just pulled down the curtains.
Very fancy. Looks like velvet. Maroon velvet, not red velvet.
She's apparently whatchamacallit, on RJ Cities tomorrow. Apparently
Yes.
he has to surf. She's in the mob.
I mean,
She can't tell you if she is. Oh, I don't think women can be in the mob. Only they're. I don't know the rules of the mob. Yeah, I mean, it's the mob. I don't think they're exactly the most progressive of organizations. Though that would be really funny if they were.
Kira Hogan.
She rules, so I'm glad she's getting some TV match time. And they've wrestled before because of the TNA relationship.
Kira's one of the people I just wish they would do something with instead of just kind of using her to help other talent get over.
Say it again?
I wish they used Kira as do something with her instead of just using her to help.
Okay, I heard that
people over. She rarely.
I heard most of that, and then I thought you said at the very end to just get you wanted her to just get people over. I'm like, wait, that's contradictory. I'm with you. She's got enough skills. She should be on it. She should be actually successful.
She would benefit if there was if there's a tag division. She would benefit from that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. You could put her in a fun. She was great on I forget the name of the tag. What was it? Whatever tag she had with Tasha Steelz. So apparently the reason Scott D'Amore was out is because he tried to buy TNA. And that made them believe that this wasn't gonna work. I don't know. So many weird reports. I don't know. The buying thing didn't make sense because it said he had a note from a big bank, like a letter from a big bank supporting the purchase, and that just doesn't make sense to me. So I would love to know all the details. Oh, working that arm.
Yeah, it's really just so much fun to watch.
She's very good. Apparently, Joel explained the TNA thing on the TNA post show, but I was unfortunately doing something. I usually watch it, but I couldn't.
I would be like, yeah, can you do that one more time? But tell it to me like I'm in 5th grade.
And then they do that, and you're like, all right, tell it to me like I'm in 3rd grade. We have a surplus. Okay, explain it to me like I'm 7. Explain it to me like I'm 5. I mean, it made if he reported the same thing that PW Insider reported, I understand what happened. I mean, I don't understand the logic behind it, but I do have questions on how serious of an offer he could have made, because they're saying the seriousness of his offer was because it was backed up by a letter from a bank, and that just doesn't make sense. So no one cares. That's me being, again, nerdy to a point of ridiculous. So
Ooh.
well, at least they're letting this match go. I was worried it was going to be a
Yeah, between the two women's matches, maybe this one would have been a shorter one.
Yeah, I thought this would be like almost like a not quite a squash, but close, and that would have upset me not only because I wanted to have it longer, but because I think Kiera Hogan deserves better. I have to ask Joe,
Yes.
since joining the podcast,
Mhm.
when you go on YouTube, how many goddamn StreamYard ads do you get?
None.
Really?
I have ad blocker on usually.
Oh, okay. I don't have all like you don't, but like just the normal YouTube ad that goes before a video.
Usually ad block blocks it for me.
Oh, I didn't know it did that. Okay.
Yeah, I have like a little extension on my browser, and usually it doesn't
Okay.
stop blocking them all out.
Um,
No collision this week.
I don't think there is. Yeah, I think they're.
Oh, look at us getting a night off.
But yeah, they
Is it like NBA
I,
stuff?
I'm, I think so. Is it the All Star game?
It's around that time, yeah.
But yeah, they all I get is streaming. I'm like, the reason you know that I know about you is because I'm using you.
Yeah, sponsor us. Come on then. Back to back women's matches, huh?
Well, it makes sense because of Tony coming out
Yeah.
with Deanna. Like she did a weird shuffle there. Tony's change of gear since she started Timeless has been brilliant
Mm-hmm.
because it all feels old timey.
How long do you think they're going to have Mariah May to kind of keep like putting up with Tony and like her dismissing
Till
her?
after Evolution.
Yeah.
Well, because you don't want to overshadow Deanna and Tony's match.
Yeah, until she loses the belt, and then
Yes. And I bet you Tony blames Mariah in some fashion. Or just becomes even more brutal towards her.
all hail the queen.
I wonder who designs gear because like her gear looks like she's like underwear all the way up.
It looks like you have the
Oh.
world's worst wedgie
Yes.
that's coming out of your trunks.
Yes. I'm like, who's designing this?
And it's like the opposite of like the early, like the mid aughts where like it was all like have your thong hang out the back of your pants. This is the opposite of
Have your
the Leah.
thong hang out the front of your pants.
There's no whale tail. This is I don't know what the opposite of a whale tail is.
A male tail? I don't know.
Hmm.
Oh, it's typically I mean I know what it is, but I don't think it applies here. Usually it's a camel toe, but
That's not it.
that's not it at all. I don't know what this is. You just wonder who's designing gear that this is what they came up with.
Uh-oh. That's a light tip.
I'm not. It's not a criticism. I'm not even against it.
I do love the commitment to the character that Tony does with like between the character work and the way she did her in-ring style, how she adapted that to this timeless character.
It speaks to her level of talent because you're right. She's adopted everything. It's not just the promos. It's the promos. It's the gear. It's the walkout. It's the wrestling style.
She does, Scott George. Her gear looks more like a old timey swimsuit.
which is why I love it so much because it fits the old timey.
Hmm. Nothing's more vicious than a headlock.
It's the most vicious move in all of wrestling.
It's timeless.
It was the schoolboy. Tell you what, though, headlock really does hurt.
It does when applied right.
Illegal in amateur wrestling.
Hmm.
I don't know, just thought that was funny because it's the most basic pro wrestling move,
Hmm.
and it is illegal in amateur wrestling.
Oh yeah, can't do that. You can't do a full Nelson.
Nope. Meanwhile, the half Nelson is the most used move in all of amateur wrestling.
Yes. I never did amateur wrestling.
I did, and now I'm watching my nephews do it. And they're much better than I ever was.
How old? Like what's the age group?
14, 12, and 10.
Okay, so yeah, they're good then. They're not like you watch like the kids who just start out when they're like 4 or 5, and it's always like one of the kids falls over, like trips, and then pin.
Oh, yeah, no, they're like actually wrestling.
Right.
Which is kind of funny because they're getting all into it, and it's. But like the 14-year-old, he's very good. He just needs to do a couple things, and he'll be extremely good. So it's just kind of funny to hear him talk about it because he didn't start wrestling until 2 years ago, but he had been doing jujitsu for 8 years.
Oh yeah, so there's a lot, some crossover.
There is the only thing I will say, and because we're picture in picture, the thing is jujitsu makes you too comfortable on your back as a fighter.
Sure.
And it's literally the one thing you can't do in wrestling. Yeah, I adjusted there. It's literally the one thing you can't do in wrestling is give up your back. Like you can't put your back to the mat. And they're very comfortable with that in jiu-jitsu to have their back to the mat. So like they wouldn't fight pin attempts nearly as hard as they should.
Well, no.
Now they do. But the first adjustment was brutal.
Yeah, I'd be like, if I can't get a single leg takedown, I'd be screwed.
Yeah, I was never great at the takedowns. I could stuff a takedown, and my skill, and I would tell anyone this is when I was on the mat, I was very hard to move. Like I just even like we're in equal weight sizes, equal strength, so it wasn't like that. I just was very good at saying like, "This is where I am. You can't move me." The problem for me is you can't win a match that way.
No, that's called stalling.
Yes. So I would get in trouble when I would try to advance.
Like, fine, I'll move.
Fine. I mean, it wasn't the worst. I was getting better, but then my kneecap just didn't allow me to continue.
There's a full Nelson. Look at that full Nelson.
Yeah, that's very risky for your neck.
Not quite the master lock.
Who else did that? He wasn't the only one. Who else used the master lock? Did someone else?
I don't know. I mean, Bobby Lashley did a full Nelson finisher for a while.
That's it.
A hurt lock.
Yeah, that's it.
I always remember like covering, high school wrestling when I worked at a newspaper. Listen to all the coaches yelling commands and like barking out things like wrist control, heavy hands, blah blah, like all these commands. Didn't really ever know what they meant, but
Yeah, so wrist control is grabbing someone's wrist, literally.
Yeah.
I would have to see what they meant by heavy hands. That's not one I'm overly familiar with, but doesn't mean But yeah, wrist control is the one thing you want to always have control of the other guy's arm or wrist because then he can't pin you.
Yeah.
He can't manipulate you to do what he wants.
How do you suppose like wrestling, like pro wrestling, got so like far away from amateur style?
Well, that's a good question.
Because I mean, I obviously evolved from that, but like how?
Yeah.
Differentiate itself from one another.
Yeah, I'm legitimately thinking this through. So,
There's a history thing for you for your blog.
It is, and I actually might look into this. But I mean, originally, so are we talking originally or in like the last like 30 years?
Maybe it was originally like how it adapted amateur wrestling adapted into however they adapted to pro wrestling back in the Carney days.
I mean, it originally just started. They were actually legitimate competitions, and then they realized how much money they could make by staging them. And so they just learned to do real fights but faked, and that's why they got rid of punches and stuff like that, because it's a lot easier to fake grapples and whatnot. But I think the last since the 80s on, because you could see how much the style has changed. Truthfully, I blame the UFC for a lot of that. Because now if you want to watch like fights, like real fights, you can go watch real fights.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bare knuckle.
Yeah. Like it used to be like when in the 90s or even before that or before then even, it was like there was nowhere you could watch besides boxing to be like, what would it look like if this wrestler or this submission guy or this whatever fought each other? And now all of a sudden you can. So you had to get even crazier. But I think realistically, I also well actually, and I'm totally making this up I'm pulling this out of my ass, so please don't quote me on this. Um, my guess would be you
Mm.
have to get away from real things because people can tell they're fake.
This match doing some decent time.
Yeah, I mean this is the second one in a row. They're getting good match time.
Good. Again, the Queen needs some wins eventually. Ooh.
I would laugh my ass off if this was the win.
It's not.
Yeah, my guess is they were like, all right, if we make these look too much like actual wrestling, people are gonna be it's gonna be obvious to everyone that these are fake.
Queen just
Like,
spanked Tony.
she does a lot of stuff like that. She's very big into that.
Hey,
Oh, Battle of the Cheeks.
good target. Oh,
Oh, she gave that one like hard.
oh. Ooh, compact pile driver.
That was fun. I love that it goes right into black and white again. Oh, she's got something to say.
Dynamite.
Dynamite. He's so ridiculous.
The warts on her butthole.
My God.
What? Huh? Let's preview Dynamite.
Oh, color in the black and white.
I like it.
That's going to be a match. Ooh. The Copen Challenge versus Garcia.
Mm-hmm. Giving out title shots to all your friends.
Yeah, why not?
Still hasn't given one to Sue.
He doesn't want to lose it.
Sure, you got. She is final boss. She is the final boss. You don't want to cross.
That would be really funny if it was like, like a Roman Reigns-esque run by someone in AEW, and they're undefeated, or Roman Reigns himself, but they're undefeated for 450 days. And I was like, we don't know. And you just see the van pull, be like, it's my turn.
I just want Sue to be there, like in a backstage segment, and just like walk in the frame, and like just accidentally walk in to talk to Trent, and Orange's like, "Yeah, okay, Sue, I know why you're here. You want a shot at the title? Like we're on Rampage." I just want that, even though like not to happen, but just like to throw it out there. Be like, "Yep, Sue, you want Rampage? Sure, why not?"
I love it. Oh God, I'm all on board on this, Joe. You got me. Yeah, you got me wanting something that'll never happen.
But there was a chance.
No, there's no chance. I've seen this commercial like 6 times.
You watch the Super Bowl for the game, the commercials, or halftime?
Not halftime. I don't watch halftime.
No, you don't care about
I enjoy the commercials, but it's the game. I watch for the football.
Yeah.
It's weird because obviously I want my teams to win, but it is a more enjoyable watch when they're not in it.
Right. You just like you're there for a good game or for the storyline.
Exactly. And even though I'm like, oh, okay, Kansas City's my pick, I don't actually care if Kansas City wins. I don't need that in my life, so it doesn't matter to me if things go against them. There was a sign in the crowd tonight that said "Give Amanada the graphic," and I agree.
Yeah, $7 million for 30 seconds of a commercial.
What was?
What Scott George was saying is $7 million for a 30-second commercial spot.
Oh Jesus! I thought you were. Yeah, that's. And anymore, is it needed?
No, like I feel like so many of the commercials get leaked on. They get them pushed out like on YouTube or ahead of time anyway. They don't. It's not a big of a deal anymore. But with the Taylor effect, more eyeballs, more casual people.
Wait, what do you, Lieutenant Colonel Photo? What do you mean? Explain what DoorDash is doing a little bit better. I don't understand.
Are they giving away one DoorDash thing every?
Dun. Literally every commercial. Okay, I got that. Literally every commercial. What next? But I don't know what they're doing, Lieutenant Colonel. I'm gonna have to Google. Don't understand what he's telling me they're doing. Oh, look, for how long? Oh, okay. They're like all the stuff that can be given away, they're gonna DoorDash to someone.
Okay.
That's nuts. Kyle Fletcher tweeted out, "Sorry to be the bearer of bad news to everyone, but I am no longer the ROH World TV Champion. Say hello to your new king of television, Bodie," and it's his dog. Colonel Photo, are they giving cars to people too? Because that is fantastic. How can I win this so that I can then sell said cars?
I'm interested to see how old Ishii was. I looked it up.
23?
23? That's how old? That's your guess?
Yeah. How old is he?
48.
Somehow both older and younger than expected. Realistically, if you had told me he was like 70, I would be like, okay.
Yeah, I feel like anywhere between like 40, upper 40, like near 50 to like 60. It's hard to tell. Yeah, he's 48, Scott. Hard to tell when the man has no neck.
The age is in the neck. He stands and walks like he was standing straight up, and someone came up behind him and just punched the back of his head and moved it forward, and it never was able to go back.
I'm
Which
always a sucker for a dog nickname, where it's like Dogface Gremlin, the Stone Pitbull.
the wither, the wicker chihuahua.
The Weathered Weimerheimer.
Does he have no neck, or is he all just one big neck?
It's a fair question. Seeing the evolution of the Orange Cassidy character over the last 4.5, 5 years of AEW has been another thing that's been fun to watch along over the years.
Yes, it's been incredible. He's, he was a comedy act, and then people realize just how good he was.
Like he'll still throw like little comedy stuff in there every now and then, but like right now. He got tires. He was like, just chop me.
And some of these prizes are insane. Sorry, I got really distracted by that. Well, it's a $20,000 dream vacation, a literal diamond BMW, $50,000 towards a home down payment.
A home down payment?
I said it and I knew it. It's like I shouldn't say this, but I can't stop myself.
Did Ishii wrestle Samoa Joe?
I don't think so, did he?
I don't know. That's what one LT Colonel photo was. No, I mean WAG, sorry.
Well, I'm gonna. Oh, well, see, there's a lot of other stuff, but I just named some of the cool stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. So once you have to apparently watch the commercial, correct the code, and then you submit. So I'm gonna have to do that because it's just too much. Why not? I won't win, but why not?
Also, how does one LT Colonel? How did he keep adding ranks to his username?
I'm waiting until he's a general. 5-star general photo.
Well, that's your problem then. If it's Alex.
Can't trust him. He's too sour. And she's crazy.
One of them's sour. The other one's crazy. Sounds like a morning show.
It's a sitcom.
Yeah.
Or a morning show, you're right.
Well, she did. I know Kate was talking about Dharma and Greg earlier on the X.
That works.
You'll have to order an Ishii shirt. I like some of the designs on them.
I've never had. I don't know what his shirts look like.
Well, you'll have to go to prowrestlingtees.com.
Yeah, but only after you go to prowrestlingtees.com/markorderpod.
Right. And there's also a discount right now.
Do you hear that, people?
I think there's a promo code, I think Big Game 24 or something. It's on the website on prowrestlingtees.com/markorderpod.
So everyone go prowrestlingtees.com/markorder, not the /markorderpod, and go get yourself a t-shirt and use code Big Game or something. You'll see it on the website. I don't know. I hope you wear a shirt to Revolution, Lieutenant Colonel photo. They might kick you out otherwise.
20% off. You didn't have to wear a shirt to Revolution. They're playing people who don't wear shirts at their things. Think about people who don't wear shirts at football games or basketball games.
That's true.
I mean, you probably have to wear one into the building, but you probably take one off later. Or unless you want to body paint the logo of the Mark Order on his body.
Very true.
Speaking of body paint, how have you thought about the Sting face paint?
I have. We'll see. It's
ooh, the DDT on the man who has no neck, or who's all
does it have any effect? And again, the neck would be a cushion the blow.
Yeah.
Or absorb it, not cushion it, but absorb it.
All neck related moves. You have the DDT, you have the neck breaker, you have the swinging neck breaker, you have the blockbuster. Just do all.
It's been tried before, but someone needs to go for a choke, and it doesn't work.
Where do I goozle him at? I can't find where I put my.
Where's my goozle? Oh, I think he heard you, Joe.
Oh, spiked him. No, Wes, I'm encouraging people to wear a shirt, or if not wear a shirt, paint their body with the Mark Order logo.
Everybody should always be painted in our logo at all times, except for me.
1LT has a proposition for you. Ooh, Orange Cassidy laying in the most vicious kicks ever.
We'll see one Lieutenant Colonel photo.
Ooh. Orange stomp in the mud hole.
Uh-oh, 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 uh-oh. I like that Ishii does the forearm and Cassidy has to do a kick. Oh, I'm liking this. Cassidy keeps trying to go the ropes, and Ishii just. I like Ishii's gear,
Mm-hmm.
like that style of wrestling gear. Like that works for me.
Yeah. Something I would wear that.
Yeah.
I saw some bad gear last night at the local show. Some of it's good, but you can definitely tell like the people who are like the newer people who are just kind of like freshly into their start.
I tend to be more forgiving of those guys at least because like you have you don't have money yet. You're just starting. Like then there's guys that you've seen wrestling for a long time and their gear's just atrocious. You're like, what are we doing here?
That's okay. That's a good point.
I tell you what kills me is when you go to these shows. I've been to a couple indies, and the guys look like like me, like that I could go in and do the same thing as them. I'm like, we really need to reconsider this, people.
Yeah. I don't know. Last night there's like one guy who's younger kid, but he looked like the size of Marco Stunt. I'm like, I can't. None of this is believable.
No, it's very tough. Like, at that size, you better go comedy. I hate to say it. So Wags thinks Mercedes is going to bring up the gear game in AEW, but if Orange Cassidy couldn't do it, I don't think anyone can.
Well, yeah. I mean, Mercedes, her husband is a really good gear maker, so I get that.
Yeah, but Orange Cassidy's the coolest guy that ever lived.
Is he?
I think so. I don't know that for sure.
I feel like that's pretty subjective.
That's your opinion. I want to know how they get his wrap to stay on that well. There's a knee wrap.
Hmm. I like the fact that you pay attention to that as a man who has knee issues.
Because I could never get a wrap to stay on that well. I used to hate like the knee brace I'd have to wear would be the only opening would be over the kneecap itself. Everything else was fully covered.
Mm-hmm.
Hated it. It sweat so much in there, and it just would get so uncomfortable.
Orange playing possum.
I hope so. That's just smart wrestling.
Oh, beach break. Ooh, nice. The roll up. In with the punch. Oh, Danhausen. I saw his entrance at one of the independent shows with his new, more of an aggressive entrance.
How was it?
It was good. Like he had posted some of the stuff on his Twitter, like of like the song and the artist and stuff, and like quoted some of the lyrics. and the play went dark, and it's metal music, and comes out, and then he just, he's yelling into the mic.
Oh man, but his AEW theme's great.
I know. Orange no sells to suplex, huh?
He's got to. He's Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, but he has a neck.
That's true.
Wags, that's a very astute question. I was wondering that as well, because I was impressed that Nick was able to keep his Kangol hat on all throughout the match.
Wait, say it again? Ankle hat all throughout the match?
Yeah, like he kept his little derby cap on the entire match.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
I don't know. I wonder if there's some like hair clips or something.
I mean, yeah, because like as a well-known hat wearer, they don't stay on.
I've seen you wear one hat.
I wear a hat until it's really not wearable anymore. I mean, I'm looking at my hat rack and there's like 12 of them on there.
Orange with a little roll-up. A little small package.
That was a fun match for the two guys involved. Like you weren't sure what you were gonna get.
All right, we're Undisputed Kingdom here to jump Orange.
That's what I'm waiting on before we do our end of the show wrap up. We are at.
We're after 9. We're after the top of the hour. 9 my time. 10 years.
There you go. They really use the overruns a lot. Love that Ishii saving the day.
Why did 3 guys run away from 1 though?
Because he's a stone pitbull.
Okay, there's Trent with the chair.
That is our Collidercast where you and I collide. So before we wrap up for the night, Joey Joe, where can we find you?
Well, if you're watching this, you can see my social handle is @_AsianJoe. And in my bios on my social media, there's a link to my cereal review blog where I review all sorts of novelty cereals. I just posted one last weekend, Trix Loaded. So if you ever want to find out what Trix tastes like with some vanilla cream, I tell you.
Fair enough. You can follow me at all our socials at MarkOrderPod. That's at MarkOrderPod on all socials. And if you go there, there's a link tree. Click that link tree. Please like and subscribe at all the places in that link tree. Then go buy yourself a t-shirt so you look snazzy. You can also follow my history blog, hereforhistory.com, @_hereforhistory. And you can find me here Wednesdays and Saturdays. All right. So this is going to be it. We will see you Wednesday at 10:15 doing our Dynamite post show. And now this is where Ryan does the outro and tells you exactly what he's doing the entire time.
Yeah, thanks for watching, guys.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for watching. I always forget that part. Hold on. Thanks, Scott Wags, Lieutenant Colonel Photo, Thomas Gibbons, Ophelia. I think I said Scott. Anyone I'm missing, I apologize. But thank you guys for being in the chat and make it a lot more fun. This is Brendan Haney. It'd be kind of boring without you guys. So thank you for being in our chat. And here I go. I put the outline on.
This concludes the Mark Order Podcast. We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming.